Next, coming up to the mic, I love this. She's opened for Jared Freed, and she's done the Portland, Maine Comedy Festival. Krista Patronick.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. City, how are we doing tonight? Oh my gosh. All right, let's get to know each other a little bit, shall we? My name's Krista. I was married for 9 years, and then my husband died, and that means I have been literally ghosted. Yeah. I feel like if he didn't want to be married to me anymore, he could have used his words. You know what I mean? Didn't have to go and die like that, but no. My husband died in bed, which makes sense because that's where most men let me down. Yeah. Alright, so shortly after my husband passed away, I got this new job and it required me to move. And I guess one thing I didn't have on my 35-year-old bingo card was where do I put my husband's urn in my new apartment? Must have missed that HGTV episode. Tried to Marie Kondo that shit. It did not spark joy. So I put the urn on my dresser in my bedroom. I don't know, it just felt right at the time. But then some time started to pass and I was getting back out there a little bit, you know what I mean? My friends were like, so happy for you, Krista. Are you gonna keep the urn on the dresser in the bedroom? And I thought about it for a second and I was like, you know what, I am gonna keep the urn there because whoever is in my room needs to feel some pressure, you know? Your job performance in this room matters, okay? Look at what happened to the last guy. Yeah. True story, I had a guy in my room one time, he looks at the urn and he goes, do you think we should get a Ouija board and like ask for permission? I was like, no, I think he's living his best cuck life up there. Yeah. So I did experience this thing that a lot of widows experience. It's commonly known as widow's fire. For me, it's where I just thought about fucking every person I ever met. Yeah, I just called that my widow phase. You know? And I'm not embarrassed about the quantity of people I was with during that time, but I am embarrassed about the quality, okay? We don't judge who or what we do while we're grieving. But I am proud because I did have sex with a firefighter, you guys. Clap it up for the firefighters. Thank you. I actually was just most excited to put all the applicable firefighter emojis in my phone under his contacts, you know? I gave him the fire truck, and the little guy with the axe, and a really big hose. Yeah. Whenever he would text me, I would be like, oh my god, stop, drop, fill my hole. Yeah. That was short-lived though, because I did go back to therapy. I did, yeah. And I thought for a while I would date a guy who also goes to therapy, you know? I want someone who can relate to me. Unfortunately, a lot of y'all won't go to therapy, so I spend a lot of time alone. Yeah. I'm just lucky that I was a vegetarian before I was a widow, because I was already used to using imitation meat. Yeah. I know. You guys, my neighbors are always like, why does her room sound like a barbershop? What goes on in there? No. I will say I was dating this one guy for a little while. I'm really embarrassed to admit. I was hatfished. Ladies, you know what hatfishing is? Okay, it's when you think a guy is hot, but then he takes his hat off. Yes, so it's an epidemic out there, you guys. It's really, really bad. It's really bad. I should have known it wasn't going to work between us, though. Our signs didn't align. See, like, I'm Scorpio, and he was a bitch. So, it was never going to work. Listen, I will leave you with this. I was on the dating apps recently, and normally I don't disclose so early in a conversation that I'm a widow. For some reason, you guys find that weird. But he said, what brings you to the apps? And I said, my husband died. And he goes, did you kill him? I said, nominations that are still ongoing. I thank Krista Patronick. Thank you so much.
Speaking of electric, this lady is open for Jared Freed and performed at the Portland, Maine Comedy Festival. And it's Krista Patronick. I still got one.
Hello! How are we doing tonight? Oh my god, it's so great to be here, you guys. Alright, let's get to know each other a little bit. My name's Krista. I was married for 9 years and then my husband died, which means I have been literally ghosted. Yeah. I know. I feel like if he didn't want to be married to me anymore, he could have just used his words. You know, he didn't have to go and die like that. But, no, that's alright. He did die in bed, which is where most men let me down. Yeah. So, after my husband passed, I held on to his phone for like a couple months, and then I finally decided to call and cancel it, and here's how that phone call went. Ready? Hello, this is the phone company. Hi, my husband passed away, so I just need to like cancel his account. Yes, ma'am, I understand you're trying to cancel an account, but in order to do that, I do need to speak to the account holder. Yeah, I'm trying to let you know that he, like, passed away. So if you could just, like, cancel his line. Yes, ma'am, I understand you're trying to cancel a line, but in order to do that, I need to speak to the account holder. Okay, hold on 1 minute. Tony? Tony, can you... I'm sorry. He's still super dead. So if you could just cancel the phone. I mean, it's just one of those things that you go through when you lose your spouse. Another thing that happened was I got a job shortly after that required me to move. And I guess one thing I didn't have on my 35-year-old bingo card was where to put your husband's urn in your new apartment. Must have missed that HGTV episode, you guys. And I tried to like Marie Kondo that shit. It did not spark joy. So I ended up just putting it on the dresser in my bedroom. I don't know, it just felt right at the time. So it stood there, and then some time passed, and I decided to start getting out there a little bit more, you know what I mean? Start bringing guys back to the crib. My friends are like, so happy for you, Krista, love this for you. Are you gonna keep the urn on the dresser in your bedroom? And I thought about it for a second, and I was like, yeah, I am gonna keep the urn there, because I need whoever is in my room to like feel some pressure. You know? Yeah, like, your job performance in this room matters, okay? Look at what happened to the last guy. I know. Real talk though, I had a guy in my room one time, and he spotted the urn, and he goes, do you think that we should get a Ouija board and like ask for permission? And I was like, no, I think he's living his best cuck life up there. You know? I don't know if he thought death was going to be part of that fantasy, but yeah. No, after he passed, I did go through this thing. A lot of widows go through this thing. It's called widow's fire. Really, it's like where you think about fucking every person you've ever met. I did go through that. I called that my wid-ho phase. Yeah. I'm not embarrassed about the quantity of people I was with during that phase, but I am embarrassed about the quality. Okay? We don't judge who or what we do while we're grieving, okay? But that was short-lived because I did go back to therapy! Yes, anyone else? Therapy? Oh my god, yes, therapy. Therapy was great. And for a while I was like, you know, I'm only going to date a guy who also goes to therapy. Because I need someone who's going to understand what I'm going through. I also need to be fucked harder than my trauma. And I have a lot of it. I have a lot of it. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of y'all won't go to therapy. So I spend a lot of time alone. I'm just lucky, you know what I mean? Like, I was a vegetarian before I was a widow, so I had already been used to using imitation meat. Yeah. My neighbors are always like, why does her room always sound like a barbershop? What goes on in there? Anyways. No, I was seeing this one guy for a little while. I'm really embarrassed to admit it, but I was hatfished. I was hatfished, ladies. Anyone know what hatfishing is? Anyone know? Okay, yes, for those who don't know, it's when you think a guy's hot, but then he takes his hat off. Yes, you guys, it is an epidemic out there. It's really bad. But I was the bigger person, you know what I mean? Like, I moved past it. And we're starting to see each other for like 5-6 months, and suddenly he goes, oh, I don't want anything serious. And I was like, you're 45. Like, what else you got going on, you know? And you're gonna die soon. Like, ask me how I know. Anyways, I've been thinking a lot about my own funeral, you guys, because I had to put a funeral on for someone else. So here's what I want at my funeral. Ready? I want to be cremated from the neck down. I want my head to go on a stick. You want to say something about me at my funeral, you gotta hold the stick. Yeah. Say it to my face. You know? Yeah. My bestie's gonna be the bouncer. She's making sure everyone's there for the right reasons. When everyone's done holding the stick, she's gonna take my head, put it in a casket. She's gonna take a little picture of one of my ex, you know, that little guy. He's put it in the casket. I need God to know I've already been to hell and I do not want to go back. She'll close the casket, take the bouquet on top, and toss it into the crowd. And whoever gets it is gonna be the next to go. You guys have been Krista Patronick. You've been amazing.